Okay, we are back. It is time for our first off season as World Series champions. Oh, what a run. What a run. You love to see this, don't you? Took out the Rockies in 3, the D-backs in 4, the Brewers in 7, the Mariners in 7. And we win our first World Series. We go 102-60. And tomorrow we have international amateurs as well as the start of the off season. Or I guess the start of the off season is the next day. So let's go ahead and go to international amateurs. Oh, that was huge. That was huge. All right, so we got some pitchers. We got Belchior De La Rue. He's fragile. I don't like that. Frank Dios, we'll go ahead and invite him. Juan Najar, low work ethic. I don't like that. Montalvo, I like him. Robina looks okay. Velasco, I really like. McGuire, good power bat out of a catcher. Yeah, Rocha looks okay. Yeah, not a great. Well, I mean, we still have 70 overall rated players here, but Nieto looks okay. Looks pretty well developed already. So we got 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to invite 3 more. I mean, we don't have to. If there's nobody I like, we can just stick with the ones we have. I mean, we'll invite De La Rue just because of how good he is. And I think we'll limit it to 7 this year. I think we're probably okay with that. So we already have a good relationship with Montalvo. That's encouraging. Oof. All right. Off season. Are we going to get a salary or a budget increase because we just won the World Series? Finally. We did. We have won it all. All right. What do we have for notes? Yep. Okay. Well, that's to be expected. Lewis, Caminero, Yamamoto, all. Team payroll of about $140 million. We don't have a lot to work with. And part of that is because Yamamoto's ARB number is $31 million. All right. Let's get ARB locked down first. So he wants 4.8. Let's give him 4.6. So it looks like, not 46. It looks like we'll be able to bring back Yamamoto and then either Lewis, Gasser, or Cassius, but that's going to be about it. Campbell, so Hurt wants $9 million. We're not going to pay him that. Let's see what sorts of returns we can get. Catcher. Shively. I mean, he's an average dude. I mean, that's literally it. What if we do this? Getting Tanner Houck from the A's doesn't help. All right, what if we may have to add? We have to add a prospect or something to this. Is there somebody I don't particularly care about who looks like he could be decent? Does Hinojosa change things at all? Yeah, he does a little bit. You can bring in Christian Mena. Again, that doesn't help. His ARB number, I mean, that saves us a little bit. His ARB number's 6.5. I mean, we get 6.5 for Mena. Saves us a couple million. If we remove the $9 million totally from Hurt. That takes us to 155, which gives us about $41 million to play with, which means maybe we can finagle both Lewis and somebody else. Let's do the rest of arbitration first, figure out exactly where our money stands, and then, because we don't have to trade Hurt today, we also have Waldrop that we are going to move on from as well. So he wants 4-4, so we should be able to give him 4-2. And I feel a whole lot better now about maybe taking a step back this upcoming season, right? Just given that we just won the World Series. So, if we're not quite as good next season, I'm not going to stress too much about it. All right, so we got those guys done. Campbell was really good in the second half, really after April. Yeah, I mean, May, June, July, August, and September, he was phenomenal. He gave up 6. He didn't give up an earned run after July. Well, he only pitched in 6 games. 8. Yeah, I mean, he was really, really good after May. Or really after April. But he wants 3.4. All right, what can we do for Yamamoto here? Will he take something like this? He won't. All right, so he wants 31.7. So we maybe 30. 31.250. Okay. And that's not great. I mean, it only saves us $500K, but gets him locked down for the season. How many years of ARB does he have left? It's got to be 2, maybe 1 after this one. 2 after this one. Okay. So we still got him locked down for a little while. So we can, I mean, by that point, Sean Noel will be off the books. I mean, assuming we want him off the books, but, all right, so we got Hurt and Waldrop. So does anybody want them both? Maybe we can just do it that way. Just be done with it. And Logan Allen. Not at 12 million. That doesn't really help things. Can we get Mena for them both? I mean, I'm happy to give them both. And I don't always like trading within the division, but okay, so this was the deal we saw before. It doesn't help our money. Let's go back and look at the shop a player. Let's just do all players. Let's do all batters and see what we get there. Because we potentially need a bat, right? We're potentially going to need to replace Cassius and or Royce Lewis. Brady Emerson looks like an okay ball player, but we don't really need another third baseman. He's good defensively, really good defensively. mean, I hate, especially with Kyle hurt, I hate to just. We're going to offer Campbell money. I just decided. 3250. I hate to just move Hurt for nothing. Like, I hate to just non-tender. What can we get for Waldrop? Like, just as a prospect. Like, if we just go prospects. Anything? Nothing particularly good. We can get this guy, Derek Cargill. I mean, he looks all right. 55, 50, 50 if he's fully developed. Can we get another reliever? Well, you have him listed as a reliever. That's not my problem. Well, they got Shohei. Rangel? Sure. You want Glasgow for Trey Rangel? Yep. 100% I will do this. Waldrop and Mike Glasgow, who we picked up in a trade last year, literally for this type of situation. For Trey Rangel, that gives us a nice young bullpen arm. Now we just got to go back to Hurt. And let's see what sorts of prospects we can get for Kyle. I mean, another good catcher wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Zach Check, he's 23, big kid. I mean, I don't hate this. Can we get a bullpen arm from you as well? Mike Gilmore, he's 25, making the league minimum. Can we get him? Nope, you like him. Okay. I'm looking at age more than anything else. Tucker Long. Looks like he could be okay. Nope. I mean, Poland's good. Not really crazy. I don't know. I really don't like that deal now that I think about it. Anybody on our big league roster we want to move on for? Move on from, rather, not move on for. Move on from. Yeah, I mean, we already tried the Hinojosa, but we'll try it again. See if that changes the prospect return. It does a little. I keep forgetting I don't have to click on them anymore. I can just hover over them, which is a great change if you ask me. He's 25. That's not really a prospect. A 25-year-old reliever is not really a prospect, guys. Just going to throw that out there. Emerson was that third baseman. Yeah, I mean, I like him. Gives us a good corner infielder. Who's our current backup corner infielder? I don't really have one. We got Caminero as well. He would have been that guy. So I think we make the deal for Emerson in case we can't bring Caminero back as well, I guess. And then Kalunga, can we get him too? Not for any of those players. I like him, though. I mean, he looks okay, right? Average running ability, but he's really good defensively. Bat isn't great, though. All right, let's remove... Let's go to actual prospects. What can we attach to get something back that will benefit us? Barrera, Eichstad. We can get a prospect at a position of higher need. That actually, how does that actually make things worse? So Eichstad has less value than Hinojosa. That's weird. What if we do that? I mean, we're back to the Christian Mena deal, which I think I might just take. I think I might just take this one. Gets us younger. Mena has had, I mean, he was really good last year. Yeah, I think we're just going to make the trade here. This will save us a bit of money. Fan interest. Liked that. Mena wants 6.5, so offer contract. We should be able to get him for like 6.15. 6.25. 6.2. All right. So we get Mena for that money. All right, and now we've got to make some decisions. From a pitching perspective, we're going to lose Gasser. Put Halling in there and Mena in there. And that's basically our rotation right now, right? Harrison, Yamamoto, Halling, Black, and Mena. We're going to lose Gasser. We're going to lose Snelling, but the rest of our bullpen should be in pretty decent shape. We bring in Trey Rangel. From an offensive perspective, we lose Lewis. We lose Cassius. Caminero. I can't give him that much money. All right, what does... It's not where I wanted to go. What does Royce Lewis want? It's a lot of money. All right, so first things first. Bam. Bam. If any of them accept the ARB offer, happy to pay them $19 million for the year. What does Gasser want? Yeah, Gasser, I think, is the first player out because we've got a rotation. We've got some young players who are ready to go. If we lose both Lewis and Cassius, I think Lewis is the one we need to bring back because we don't have a shortstop. We could, in theory, Williams, 60 range. She needs to stick at second. Same thing with Schroeder. I think we have to bring Royce Lewis back and then start to think about what our future is going to look like. Can we get him for like 4 years at $25 million? Like, would that work? Does that get it done? 5 years at 25? All right, so a 5-year, that takes him to 30. His ratings have been fine. He hasn't dipped at all. Like, the overall potential dropped a year and a half ago or something. But everything else is fine. I think 4 years, I think that's a reasonable contract. So let's go ahead and offer that up. 5 years at 25. We'll submit the offer. That'll leave us with some money to play with. Oh, and we have to go, before I forget, we have to go here. Development lab. All right, so what do we want to do? Let's start with our youngest players. Cuevas, what do we want Frank to work on? I think we continue to work on his I want to continue to work on his defense. No, let's work on... Ooh, I would love to have him generate some additional bat speed. Let's try that. Yamamoto. Pitch movement. Danny Guerrero, his defense is already elite. So we want Guerrero to work on his plate discipline. I want to go to AAA because I want some of our young guys here to work on stuff. So, Burgess. He's 96 to 98. Let's work on his movement. Staley, let's work on his movement. And then we need a spot for defense. Bolivar's not ready, but, I mean, if the glove can carry him, yeah, let's plug in Bolivar and have... It's hard. I don't like that. Jet Williams, improve at second base. All right. So we got to sim ahead a bit. So this is going to be an extended episode, but I think that's fair. All right, so Neely signs, Campbell signs, Black signs, Blythe signs, Kalaz signs, Yamamoto signs. Fan interest is a 95, which is lovely to see. All right, Royce Lewis signs the extension. That should bump us close to 100. Didn't do anything for our fan interest. That's interesting. For sure it would. All right, Gold Glove. So happy we finally got it done. Man. AL Gold Gloves. You can see the names there. NL Gold Gloves. We did not win one this year. Oh, that's right. Corbin Carroll's going to be a free agent. Not that we're going to have anywhere close to enough money to sign Corbin Carroll, but whatever. Christian Mena signs his arbitration figure. Duran wins the reliever of the year in the AL. Clase wins it in the NL. Joe Walker finishes third. Again, and I will beat this into the ground, don't spend a lot of money on relievers. There's just no reason to, especially if you've got a ballpark like we do that leans towards pitching. Jet Williams wins the Silver Slugger at second. Shawnuel wins it at DH. Nolan may be our first baseman next year, depending on what the finances look like once we get to free agency. Rookie of the Year in the AL, Manny Marin at 321. In the NL, Rodney Green. Oh, wait, no. I take that back. Alfredo Alvarado wins it in the AL. AL Manager of the Year, Mark Neufeld. In the NL, it is me. Let's go. Cy Young. Grayson Rodriguez. In the NL, Dan Wyman. Kyle Harrison finishes second. Man, I would love to get Hunter Green away from Milwaukee somehow. We'll try again once we flip over to the offseason. In fact, once we flip over to the offseason, we'll try again. And then MVP. The AL goes to Julio Rodriguez, and Corbin Carroll wins it in the NL. Johnny Horlacher hit 53 home runs for a second straight season. Oof, look at this guy. He can pitch. This is weird. He has a 65 arm over at third base, but only 45 stuff. Interesting. Shawnuel finishes fourth. Harrison finishes in the top 10. Let's go to international amateurs, international scouting, run our practice. Let's get to salary arbitration hearings. Gasser files for free agency. Cassius files for free agency. That's perfect. I mean, I'm not against bringing Tristan back once we get to the offseason, but I have a feeling his demand is going to go up. We'll see what happens. And there could also be an international guy that's available that's significantly cheaper. Oh my gosh. Okay. Seiji Tada is a beast. A 22-year-old reliever here. No movement. Fastball slider guy. Wow. Some good options out of the international leagues this year. Only wants $1.8 million. We don't really need an outfielder, though. I mean, this is the guy. Slider, curveball, changeup, cutter. He wants $20 million. But again, I don't really want to spend the money on pitchers. Okay, his demand has gone up. Yeah. All right, so what do we have for money? We got $23 million. Let's see where our lineup stands. Let's just go to overview, clear. All right, so we got Urena at catcher. Right now we got Shawnuel at first. Williams at second. Lewis at short. Cuevas at third. Oh, wow. I didn't realize how rough our outfield situation was going to be. Right now we have Rafaela in right. Kalaz in center. I mean, defensively, this is about as good as you're going to get from a defensive alignment, but we need a bat in the outfield. It's that simple. And we need a DH. Pitching, I don't know that we make any moves. I want to wait and see how these guys develop. Like Burgess has to go on the 40-man. Maldonado has to go on the 40-man. Put John Watson on the 40-man. Yeah, we're going to need a bat. McKernan on the 40-man because we're not likely to take anybody in the Rule 5. Eric Nelson is going to go on the 40-man. Yeah, we need a bat. We need an outfielder. Caminero wants 17. $40 million for Alvarez. Wyatt Langford wants 26. He's fragile. I mean, I can bring in Wyatt Langford, and I absolutely could make that work. That's not an unreasonable contract. Could bring Vlad back. He wants 23. Austin Riley. Swinsky wants 20. I mean, technically, we need an outfielder and a designated hitter. I mean, if we sign Langford, that's going to essentially eat up the entirety of our budget. But that looks to be the case with most of these guys. Kind of digging the concept of bringing in, because we could bring in this guy, Matsunaga, as our DH. All right, so we're going to do this. We're going to come here. We're going to talk to Wyatt Langford. Let's see if we can get him to like a 5-year deal. Like that. Oh, it can't. Can this be 23? No. Ugh. Or do we just... Yeah, I mean, Caminero... I got my eyes set on Langford now. My only concern... What does his injury history look like? I mean, nothing major, just some soreness. Only a handful. He had this one, the broken elbow, but that was 6 years ago. All right. We got to make this work. So let's try 6. This number can't be higher than 23. I just can't afford that. 27.5, 26, 25, 22. Will he do something like that? He will. Cool. I mean, that leaves us with like virtually no money. But I feel like I'm looking through here to see if there are any contracts I mean, we could, in theory, move Mena depending on whether or not we get any growth from these guys. Like, Burgess is up to a 50. So we may end up going to Burgess, and maybe we trade Mena in the offseason. So let's see if that works. I'm going to sim up to the winter meetings. So we'll come back at the winter meetings, and we'll kind of see how things are going. Be right back. Hey, guys, we're back. And it's time for the winter meetings. And because I broke this up into 2 different videos, I'm going to take my time here. So we're in sort of a negotiation battle, if you will, for the rights to Wyatt Langford. First it was, I don't remember who it was at first. But right now it's one of the New York teams is offering him a lot of money. We've come back and we've made a bigger offer, and I don't know that we can go much higher than we've gone. So hopefully we can get him locked down for the number that we've offered him. So before we get into the winter meetings and before we look at ways to upgrade our team, I want to do sort of a perspective on our prospects. Excuse me. And just go kind of team by team and look at the players we have and kind of what the expectations are and whether or not we can potentially think about moving on from them, using them as pieces to improve the major league roster. I love the fact that of our 5 best players, the oldest is 30. Love it. And they got Royce Lewis as our staple at shortstop. But anyway, so AAA. Right now, our AAA team is focused primarily on its pitching. Right, we got Shamel Burgess. It's our 2nd-round pick in 2027. He's currently the number 78 prospect in baseball. Had an okay season last season in Sacramento. I wouldn't mind leaving him down there for one more year, but we'll see what the rest of the offseason brings. Right now, he's 50, 50, 45. Probably wouldn't perform all that well in the majors, but 60, 55, 50. Still has a lot of room to grow on his fastball, sinker, and a knuckle curve. He could be really, really good when it's all said and done. Bobby Staley, more of a high floor kind of guy, 55, 60, 55. Fastball, slider, sinker. Another pitcher that we're sort of counting on here over the next couple of years as we start to get into some high priced. Not issues, but if Kyle Harrison opts out at age 33, we may not re-sign him. Or at age 32, we may not re-sign him. I mean, it depends on what he's asking for. Yamamoto's ARB number is going to start to get even more ridiculous than it already is. Mena, We may end up trading him. I don't know, but yeah, we're gonna need some of our young players to start to step up here over the next couple of years, because what we're doing right now is not sustainable. It's working, but it's not sustainable. Boston Kellner, he's listed as a 50 overall. He's a leader. We may use him as a depth. I mean, he was really good in AAA. We may call him up. In fact, we're going to call him up. We like the captainness of him, and if he can be a back of the bullpen guy, that'll work. Luis Bolivar, I don't know. One of our first international signings. I mean, he looks more like a fourth outfielder at this point. The bat just never developed like we hoped. Had a pretty good season back in 2029 in A-ball, but has been decidedly average since then. This might be his last opportunity. He's already 24. May use him as part of a deal. Phil Furness, another high floor kind of guy. Doesn't throw hard, but 3 good pitches. Could be a fifth starter for us. He'll start in AAA. Juan Maldonado, another kind of 4th or 5th starter, but 55, 50, 50. Doesn't have a fastball. I mean, I guess the cutter technically is a fastball, but only 40 stamina. That can limit his capabilities. But big kid, 6'7", 215, so I'm still optimistic there. Michael Mullinax, I mean, he's 26. We picked him up in a trade a couple of years ago. Had a really nice season in AAA. Do we potentially move on from Miguel Bleis, who is a bit better defensively, to go with Mullinax? I mean, maybe. They both have some speed. I mean, maybe we go with Mullinax. That might be an option there. John Watson's a 23-year-old high contact guy, but again, good defense. We can use him in a pinch if we have an injury. McKernan, depth guy. Picked him up in a trade, but he might be, I mean, if he can end up at 50, 50, 45, he might be one of those, first guys called up if we need him. Then Rustin Rigdon is defensive replacement. Down in AA, we've got Devin Lammers. Again, looks more like a 4th outfielder. Probably use him as trade bait. Eric Nelson, only 22 years old, our 5th round pick in 2027. 60 potential stuff, a high work ethic. He'll start in AAA this year. Need to see that control improve. But if he can end up 65, 65, 70, 55, 65 with his pitches, we'll have a really good one there. Harlington Sherrill, I mean, could be a starting left fielder. Doesn't really have the defensive ratings for center. Has some speed. Had a really good year in AA last year with that 50 contact. He should probably be in AAA right now. Igwe, he'll start in AA. Probably finish in AAA. He might be our backup middle infielder next season. Josh Parker, one of our many really good defensive catchers. Probably trade bait. He's stuck behind 3 or 4 different players. And then Mike Bone is our 9th round pick from 2028. Doesn't look bad. I don't know how that's only a 35 rating. Should probably stick him on the 40, man. There's not much going on in high A ball. We got Joel Frazier. 4th round pick in 2030. Good defensively outfielder. Bobby Hanaway, another catcher. I'd like to hold on to him. He's got some pop in his bat. Really good season in high A ball last year. We call him up there, move Parker there. And then that's really it. Not a whole lot going down here. Alexis Rubik isn't terrible. 50, 45, 55. Wasn't particularly good in A ball, but we will stick him on the 40 man. And then we get down to A-ball, and things get interesting. Eric Fennell was our 1st round pick last season, 34th overall. He's number 58 prospect in the game. Was okay in A-ball, walked too many, didn't strike enough out, but the 35 stuff, 40 movement, 30 control, led me to believe he belongs in A-ball, so he'll start there next year as well. Mike Furr was our 1st round pick in 2031 this past season, and he looks like he's going to be an animal. 40, 40, 30 already at just age 18. He looks like he could be a beast. High work ethic and even a passable bat as well. Mike Harrington, somebody that I'm still holding out hope. He hasn't lost all of his potential. He's down to a 70. But, really a potential two-way guy. 60, 45, 50. Or, 60 stuff. Okay. Let's do it this way. 60 stuff, 50 movement, 60 control, 55 stamina, 4+ pitches. Really good defensive shortstop. He's not there yet. He wasn't all that good in fact, he was really bad in A-ball, but at age 21, we just sort of had to throw him there and have him figure it out. Ryudai Henry, moved him to third. Again, another player we just sort of called up because he had to start figuring it out. He had a $180 last year. Really good defensively at third. That's a good bat. High work ethic. There's some hope there. Kenki O'Brien, second round pick back in 2029. Was better in 2031 than he was in 2030. So we'll start him in A-ball this year. See how he does. Potentially move him to high A. Esteban Barrera, second round pick in 2031. Started in rookie ball, only played 2 games in A-ball. I think he's going to start in high A with that 40, the 40, 35, 30, 40, 40 ratings. Tim Cobb, first round pick back in 2028, looked really good in A-ball. Can probably call him up to high A. I mean, I don't like the control, but maybe he can work through it this year. Andy Mason, again, another player we drafted last season. Probably start him in A-ball. He won't be there very long with those ratings, I imagine. Fountain, 13th round pick, but elite defensively. Can't hit, though. Jake Thorpe, another good defensive catcher. 7th round pick in 2027. And then Dan Wright was one of our first draft picks ever back in 2027, and he just has stumbled, probably going to be traded. And I think that's about it. Carney was that power-hitting shortstop. Yeah, he's already lost some of that power. And then Medico. Medico needs to get called up. Call him up to high A-ball this year. See how that goes for him. And then rookie ball, Nate Doherty. We drafted him in the 5th round back in 2030. Hasn't hit particularly well. Good offensive ability, no real position, maybe trade bait. Cantwell, 5th round pick in 2031. We've already seen a little bit of growth out of him from his overall. The potential eye has dipped a bit, but he looks like he could be pretty good. ATN, 2030. Hasn't hit yet. He'll stay right where he is. Andrade hasn't hit. He'll stay right where he is. Probably a second baseman. Casanova, 3 years in rookie ball, can't hit. Eichstad, a couple of years in rookie ball as well. He can't hit, but he's got some upside. Santillan is an international guy we signed back in 2030, but I already moved him to A-ball because he was pretty well developed for an 18-year-old or a 19-year-old at the time, 35, 35, 35, 30, 30. So he'll get to start in the DSL. And then our other DSL team has got a couple of studs on it, or at least one stud. David Padilla was our international signing a year ago. Already moved him out of the international complex, 35, 40, 30, 30. 80 potential power. Hope to see that develop. And then David Pacheco hit 331, so we can probably get called. We'll disable the AI promotion first, and then we'll call him up to A-ball. And then the international complex, Alexis Flores is our big name there, 2029. I might see if there's any development here during the offseason and then call him up because he's already 19 years old, 30. The power still has a long way to go, but he hasn't filled out. He's only 165 pounds. So Daniel Rivera looks like a pretty good defensive third baseman. We found him a year ago. Jorge Ciordia, we found him in October of 2029. Pretty good bat there, high work ethic. Ismael Barrera, found him in April of 2030. And Julio Lemus in May of this past season. So we've got some talent. And I'm really curious what is going to happen with Langford because that may change up what we choose to do the rest of the post or the rest of the winter meetings. But I think, who do we have on the block? DL Hall, who's 33 years old. Holy smokes. That is insane. Making $18 million. Cade Horton making 22. Old friend Jesus Luzardo is making 21. I'm not interested in trading for any of these. I mean, I'm interested in them if they were free agents, not if Brash is making $20 million. What did you guys do? Brian Bayo? No. Yeah, I'm not really. I mean, number one, I don't have the money for any of them, but then same thing over here with the batters. We got Juan Soto, Brady House, Kyle Manzardo. Abreu may not. Well, he's wrecked and he's a lefty. I'm thinking, what do we do if we can't get Langford? James Wood looks like a pretty good option. Jason Chorio. I don't hate the idea of James Wood. What if we did something like this? You guys would have to retain like half of it. Oof. I would love to pick up Wood and Langford. Can we make this happen? All right, so we talked about all the players that we are comfortable giving up. So let's start with those. Let's start with Doherty. Doesn't change things at all. So I'm trying to find a prospect that will... Wow, okay. So putting both of these guys in there do nothing. I mean, do we give up Walker? He's 26. I mean, he's still ARB eligible. What's his ARB number next season? It's only 2.2. I can't do that. I mean, let's see. Can't give up Padilla, Fennel, Fur, Harrington, Burgess. Don't want to give up Santillan. Really want to give up... Kinky O'Brien. Okay, so they would take Halling. Oh, wow. They'll do Mena and Halling. Ooh. We make it 9.5, and it's only for a year. I mean, I just can't bring myself to give up a pitcher like Halling, who, granted, didn't pitch very much for us last year because he got hurt. But, I mean, ARB number next year is 2.5. That's a really reasonable contract. But that doesn't mean we can't trade something off of our big league roster. It's just a matter of what. So we just picked up Rangel. Guerrero, Halling, Urena, Walker. All right. Kind of gives me an idea of what it is they're looking for. So, Hanaway, Stroman, Halling, Urena. I can't. Urena and Guerrero is my catcher combination. All right, so not Cisneros. I don't want to give up Hartman and Kellner just because they're my guys, right? Let's throw Blyce in there. Not that he's going to add anything to this, but yeah, it doesn't change things at all. Let's see what happens. I mean, I feel like that's a trade we can make. Yeah, this is what I was afraid of. We have 22 million to spend this year, 32 to spend next season. And I gotta pause again, guys. Sorry, I'll be right back. All right, let's move on here, shall we? Just looking at all the different videos I have recorded right now. I've got like a week's worth of videos recorded already because of the championship this year. All right, so I'm up to December 8th and still going back and forth with New York on Wyatt Langford. We're about out of time and money, however. So I'm not sure what the best course of action is, truth be told. I'm thought about trading Christian Mena, but there isn't much. Like if we attach, I don't know, let's attach one of our prospects to him. Dan Wright. I'd like to free up the $6 million so that I can go a little bit deeper on Langford this season if I need to. But as you can see, not a lot of great offers coming back the other direction. We got a catcher here with a ton of power that we sent to them. Wow, where did this development come from? Wait, when did we make that trade? 2028? 12/22 of 28. So many deals, I can't remember what we've done. 12/22. Oh, okay. We picked up Kyle Hurt and $3 million in cash for that one. Interesting. League minimum, 25 home runs, only one WAR. Interesting. Whitaker looks nice. He's another power guy. Yeah, just not a lot of options. All right, what if we added somebody a little bit better? What if we added Kenki O'Brien? What does that do for things? Not much. Yeah, not much. All right, well, maybe we just hang on to Mena for the year. And I'm waiting to get to the Rule 5, but I'm just kind of going a week at a time here until we figure out what's going on with Langford. So we lose Robbie Snelling. The last information I got from Langford was that we're at the top of his list. Jaden Stroman, we really need the team's help. you start a charity that's going to take money away, that's going to hurt us. So please sign the contract, Wyatt. Still nothing, huh? He's still there. It's the Yankees and us. All right, Rule 5. I think we've already put everybody on the Rule 5 that we want to. So let's just hop right in. I mean, I got to trade him. So he needs to be... Fountain was that elite defensive outfielder, right? Yeah. What sort of prospect can we get here that isn't Rule 5 eligible? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Trade block. Can we get like a reliever that makes no money? Is that a possibility? Nope, 17 million there. Saw Logan Webb. I wonder how his career's been going. He's 35 years old. He's still going strong. Last year was the first year in his career. His first year since 2020 that he had a ERA north of 4. Just grinding out those wings. I mean, that's a borderline Hall of Famer from a starting pitcher these days, this day and age. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11 straight double-digit seat wins. Seasons with double-digit wins. Oh, maybe can we get Mark Church for those guys? Making 1.4. No, I think we may just end up putting those guys on the 40-man. And then looking to move them afterwards, I guess. Yeah. And then Mike Delmedico. All right, let's get into the Rule 5. I mean, can't imagine we're going to take anybody, so let's just sim up to our pick. Pitching potential. A couple of 22-year-olds that are pretty far. That's Kassan Evans. That's not what I was looking at. A couple 22-year-olds that are pretty far off. Any batters that are of interest? No, not really. I mean, Bergola looks interesting, but I don't really need him. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and autocomplete the draft. Really, this entire offseason is hinging on Wyatt Langford because we've put all of our eggs into that basket, so to speak, right? Like, if we don't sign Langford, we're going to be probably doing 1 year There we go. All right, so we sign Wyatt Langford. It's a pretty ridiculous contract. They're $22 million this year, $32 next year, then $37, $35, $35. Last 2 seasons are player options. So my hope, honestly, is that he plays well these 2 seasons and then opts out. That's sort of the hope here, right? So that fixes our lineup. We can take Bone off the... Can I just take him off the... Like, no, you gotta waive him, right? Yeah. All right, so we'll waive him. We pick up Wyatt Langford. We have $0 to spend, but that's because we just started a charity. I'm hoping we get a bump to our budget with that signing. But yeah, that makes our lineup much, much better. We can now run with Blyce, Kalaz, and Rafaela in the outfield because we have Langford as our DH/4th outfielder, and then we can call up Mullinax as well. So we can run with 5 outfielders. Stroman can back up at all 3 infield positions. Yeah, that'll work. That will work. Portland claimed Mike Bone. Shoot. All right, well, it happens. I may still try to trade. All right, so no defensive improvement from Shanuel at first. I was hoping to get, since he's going to have to play first base this year, I was hoping to see some improvement there. I don't need Royce Lewis to improve at second base. I need him to improve at shortstop. Excuse me. I don't need Rafaela to improve at second base either. I guess we'll just go Kalaz. It's in center. Go to the next page, or the next month, the next page, the next month. So we lose Robert Gasser, but we pick up 2 supplemental picks in the upcoming draft, which is just awesome. We won't have any money left. I think we're pretty much done unless our owner gives us a budget increase. We got to get to international amateurs, international scouting. And we'll sim. I'm going to sim up to the preseason so we can see together if I get a fan interest bump or a budget increase. I should say. Who made the Hall of Fame? Forgot to vote. I think I'm going to start voting again next season. I don't always vote. I don't find it all that interesting. Kershaw made it. Strasburg, Darvish, Rendon, Ray, Springer, and Juarez all dropped. Francisco Rodriguez dropped as well. All right. So what do we want? The catcher looks okay. Interest. I kind of want to go at if any of those pitchers. High work ethic, ground ball guy. Frank Dios, sure. Just offer him the full. Not really interested in digging too much. Let's get to preseason and see what our owner says. We can't sign Dios. We don't have enough money. Right. We got other people who have more money than us. Yeah, I mean, he's fragile, but we'll offer him the 4.75. I mean, again, I expect somebody will outbid us for him. He dropped our scouting and our development. That's not a surprise. Well, I guess it is a bit of a surprise. I need an owner who's not an economizer. I need someone to give me more money. That's really what we need to do here. We'll accept that one because Wyatt Langford should be plugged in there, yeah. All right, let's just see if we can sign that pitcher, and then we'll call it an episode. All right, so he's going to have to sign with somebody else. So I'm going to sign International. Let's just look. Who can we get? I like a catcher with 85 power. Just sim until we get him. All right, we get him. I don't know that the bat's ever going to come along, but 85 power, 70i, sure. All right, so that's going to do it for the offseason. We make one big move. We land the big fish, so to speak, in Wyatt Langford. We're still waiting on development out of these guys. I don't know that they're going to be ready yet, so if they're not, this is going to be our pitching staff. Probably sign a handful of veterans to fill out these rosters. And we'll just kind of go from there. So I'll see you again on opening day when we defend our crown. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.